Bueno, entonces, hablando ya puntualmente del resumen, el tema central de esta guía gira en torno a la política monetaria internacional y las crisis financieras. Inicialmente se explicarán los periodos históricos que contribuyen a la creación de las políticas monetarias y las características principales del sistema generadas por el entorno económico que ayudarán a entrar en contexto. Se mencionarán los resultados y las reglas de juego de la implementación de las políticas financieras y sus implicaciones sobre el mercado internacional. Se procederá a evidenciar cómo el tema del sistema monetario internacional y la crisis financiera han afectado a la empresa de estudio y pues ya a partir de esto serán las respectivas conclusiones. Es importante mencionar que la política monetaria internacional y las crisis financieras tienen un gran impacto sobre los países y las empresas internas del país y cómo se comportan tanto en el mercado interno como externo. El poder entender las políticas monetarias y tener presente las crisis financieras son claves en el progreso de una empresa. Por lo tanto, para la empresa Arango y Guevara S.A.S. es importante tener presente cómo las políticas monetarias y las crisis financieras actuales impactarán su desarrollo, cómo utilizar tanto las políticas monetarias como las crisis a su favor y mitigar las consecuencias negativas de estas. Ahora, en esta diapositiva podemos ver tres fotos de manera específica. Una es cómo ha ido manejándose el dólar versus el peso, o sea, la tasa de cambio. En otra de las imágenes podemos ver cómo ha sido el crecimiento de las exportaciones del sector muebles y madera en millones de dólares. Y en la imagen de abajo, la que está en verde, estamos viendo la producción de la industria del mueble y madera en miles de pesos. ¿Listo? Entonces, es importante dentro de la temática ver cómo ha sido el comportamiento del dólar en temas de la tasa de cambio. Es importante obviamente también ver cómo se han manejado las exportaciones y su crecimiento y pues la participación de producción de la industria mueble y madera en Colombia. Es importante mencionar también que dentro de la industria mueble y madera, desde a partir del 2016-2017 hasta la fecha actual, ha venido como en un descenso la demanda dentro de esta industria. Las causas principales son debido a las importaciones que están teniendo, los impuestos a las empresas de industria de madera actualmente en Colombia. Y pues de nuevo el tema de las importaciones, la competitividad y los diferentes productos sustitutos que se están presentando dentro del país. Y hemos llegado a las conclusiones. Entonces, las conclusiones toca en inglés, pues vamos a seguir en inglés. Entonces, it is important to have a set of rules and arrangements in global markets in order to allow a smooth and fair economic trade between different nations. This is one of the main key points and aspects of basically the policies that we were talking about previously. It all comes down to this, basically. Another conclusion that we were able to draw out was that due to the fact that most countries have their own currency, it is important to assure the conversion of different currencies with transparency, taking into account economic factors in order to determine product prices at a global level. In one of our tutorials, our teacher was mentioning or using the example of the price of rice in terms of its value in pesos and its value in dollars in terms of what it was, and determining the relation that you can find within the currencies and establishing a price for a specific product. Another conclusion they were able to mention is that the company must be able to see the reevaluation of the peso as an opportunity to better improve productive processes in order to become more competitive and not be impacted by the exchange rate of the Colombian peso versus the dollar. So this is all about finding a silver lining. It's important for a company to see opportunity in a negative situation. At this moment, the Colombian peso is weak in comparison with the dollar. So they must find a way to use this maybe as a motivation, maybe as a creative period to better improve, as we mentioned before in the conclusions, their productive processes in order to be able to compete with the international markets. Another conclusion is that it is important for the company to take advantage of the fact that important products which prices are set taking into account the conversion from dollar to peso can be a little bit more expensive than products actually produced within the country. Reason why they should reevaluate the production processes at a lower cost to see if they can be more competitive, not only in the internal market, but in the international market as well, competing with international prices. So this is important because right now, in comparison to the dollar, the Colombian peso is much weaker. So the production costs within the country are lower. So they can try and use this as an advantage when exporting goods. Another important thing that we found after completing the overall investigation of not only the topics but the company and its industry and its current state is that according to the information provided by DANE, it is important for the company to be aware of the decrease in the demand for their products in the international and external markets. It is important for the company to understand why this is happening and apply an immediate plan to undertake the situation. So the trend in terms of the demand for their products has been decreasing. The main reasons why is the taxation of the Colombian government towards internal producers of these types of goods are higher. Also, there are a lot of imports coming into the country. Unfortunately, in Colombia, the government tends to favor a little the imports versus the exports. This obviously is a main factor when it comes to like making your internal production, let's say, a little bit more productive or a little bit more successful. So this is a key factor to take into account. So another conclusion that goes a little bit hand in hand with the previous conclusion is that it is important for the company and the industry as well to try and start mediations with the current government regarding taxation for the industry and imports that are two of the main factors that are affecting this industry. We consider that it is important for the company to be able to, the company and the industry as well, to talk to the government and try to pressure them into being a little bit more flexible or not using taxation against them in order for the industry, the internal industry, to thrive at an international level. So these are basically the conclusions that we were able to draw out. I do thank you a lot for your time. We hope you have a great day and that this presentation overall was to your liking. Thank you.